you're never gonna find love like, oh my God.
Like, oh my God. Well, yeah, if you're over 40 and you still act and talk like you're in high school, the men you want are gonna be like, you need to mature, you need to become an adult.
Sorry, I woke up like really, really emotional because I was married for, oh my God, I need to stop. I was married for over 20 years, and like, I was so used to being a wife. Like, I loved being married, you know? Like, I love being a wife. I love having like that one person I love coming home to and like venting all my to.
So basically, you didn't actually love your husband. You just loved having an emotional dumpster that paid your bills. Yep, crap like this is why we stopped marrying you lovely ladies.
And now it's like, yeah, you date people and like sparks fly, and then it's just like, oh, I found better, you know?
Well, yeah, that's what happens when you operate on a deregulated dating market. Everybody's looking for the bigger, better deal. That's probably what you were looking for when you divorced your husband. But see, what you failed to consider, though, is that a divorced woman in her 40s is not the bigger, better deal that the men you want are looking for.
You have been weighed, you have been measured, and you have been found wanting.
I think some of you guys missed my story time because, I don't know, I posted the dumbest video of me at Home Depot. It didn't go viral. But, like, I was talking to my ex again, and there was a TikTok. I had a fan on here, a TikTok follower that messaged me, and she said, hey, I started talking to this guy, and I noticed on his Instagram, like those highlight reels, you were in one of, I just came to the realization that like, if you're 40 years old, you're never gonna find love like, oh my God.
Like, oh my God. Well, yeah, if you're over 40 and you still act and talk like you're in high school, the men you want are going to be like, you need to mature, you need to become an adult.
Sorry, I woke up like really, really emotional because I was married for, oh my God, I need to stop.
Anybody out there who got divorced and like regrets it, especially women 35, 40, 45, please tap in and let me know, because at this point I am like probably not 99, maybe 89% sure that I'm probably going to be divorced within the next year. So I can't stay with this. I can't be with you. I can't. And I feel like I've tried so hard. So I've been married for 3 years. People always ask me, and it's.
So she was married 3 years. And she knows she's ready to get out of the game. People, let me help y'all understand why we're here today. I'm gonna tell you something. As I always tell you guys, I start my live stream off by saying, or you hear me say a lot, I'm a 56-year-old dude. And as a 56-year-old dude, I have seen a lot. And if I was to go back, hold up. If I was to go back, if I could go back, excuse me, to my younger self, the one thing that would be unbelievable more than anything is the fact that I, at 56 years old now, I look at things and say, who knew? I look at things now at 56 years old and say, I could have never believed that it would be like this. Women have evolved to the mind state of, we just don't have any problems. Women have evolved to the mind state of, all our problems is a man problem. You can see a woman that weighs 500, 600 pounds and ask her, what is your biggest problem? It'll be a situation with a man. When you have comforted, when society has given women the green light to allow delusion to be religion, it's the reason why I will tell you guys, women have strength. Let me go left and talk about DEI for a second. So when you look at DEI, the people that benefit from DEI will not understand the pros and cons or the path of DEI, or it's not elimination, but it's the life of DEI. DEI has a life because people don't understand that it's tied to a tax break. So women are the double minority, black men are the single minority. So women, when you hire women, you get double tax break. You can't get women to understand that if the tax break or the tax code change, then they are no longer needed. You can't get them to understand this. So they will navigate themselves around and think that they are great, or they are they have a certain quality, a certain value that they don't have. In addition to that, our court system has allowed women to simply just say whatever it is they want. In the courts, because they capitalize on it financially, they say, "Come, bring them down here, and we'll bring them down here, and we'll handle it." Because of this, women have been led to believe that there are these almighty individuals until they run into a person like me that's not scared of their very destruction system. I'm not scared of court curriculum. This is why Tia LaShawn Bradley wasn't successful with me. So you can have, these women can walk around here with all these narratives about how, oh yeah, we better than men. And if that don't work, take them to court. Take me to court. Take me to court. I helped the Tia LaShawn Bradley. Take me to court. So when you add up all these things that don't work on me, that I understand, it's why when you hear me speak, I don't have no woman prospected in mind. Like I can tell an individual, like I will always tell an individual, name 10 of the worst things about men. I'm not in the top 10. None of my characteristics, none of the things that I do are within the top 10. But every woman, I don't care if she's the best wife or the worst street chick, they don't understand that some of the things that they are is simply attitude more than anything. I had a woman, we had something planned 2 weeks out. When it was time for it to happen, the sisterhood had an event that Saturday and we got blocked. I'm not going to ever ask her out again. Matter of fact, I'm never going to ask a woman out again. If I do, let me rephrase that. It won't be women that I've went out with before. I will try old tactics with new women. I'm not going to, I understand my value. But when you look at all the perspectives and narratives that women have today, all of their narratives are based on things that men are supposed to, quote unquote, responsible for. I find it amazing. I do. I find it amazing when a woman says, when I hear women say, I divorced my husband because I wasn't happy. Do you know your attitude can change 5 times in an hour? Do you know that you can just change? How is the one thing that women seem to be certain on is their happiness that a man is responsible for? Only to then go and do videos about how they regret it. There are no men on social media that regret marrying divorcing their wife. There aren't any. But there are droves of women on social media that said, I divorced my husband, now I regret it. I find that to be damning, and I want to thank individuals, because let me tell you where you men mess up at. You men mess up when you do not meet a woman and help that woman understand the curriculum of women. Because women think that they are, if you put 1,000 women in a row, all of them would think they are uniquely different from the next one. Only to then, you would then have to help them understand, no, all of y'all are the exact same. And because y'all are the same, I can't and will not, there are no difference amongst you, despite what you may think. Damn it, man. Hold up. Jesus Christ. So what happens is a lot of men that are in relationships, a lot of men that are married, they are actually catering to these women that are juggling what their friends are saying and what their marriage is doing. I get it. I get it, and I will not. I won't. You know, I sometimes say to myself, I'm a bit too harsh. I sometimes say to myself that I was a bit too harsh, and then my motivational, when I go walking in the morning, my motivational. Let me tell you the title of my motivation. Very well said. I'm gonna get to that comment in a second, but I was listening to my motivation speaks this morning. It was 5 things to never do when someone disrespect you. All right. Oh, I'm not gonna. It's monetized, but. Here you go, right here. I'll just. This is. I'll screenshot it. It's monetized, so I'm not going to play it. When I tried to open it up, a commercial came on. So when a commercial came on, that told me it was monetized, and I'm not gonna play it. Got to be careful. But this is it here. Let me see if I can blow it up. Yeah. That's what I listen to today, my motivation. My motivation, right? And when I listened to that this morning, I said to myself, that is definitely, I listened to it and I said, that's definitely something that I don't do. I don't allow people to disrespect me. And one of the things that it said is when someone disrespect you, don't match their energy. You walk away from them. So in listening to that, I hear a lot of women saying that they just woke up one day and wasn't happy. And I guess a man, their husband or whatever, was supposed to say, I'm gonna see to it that you're happy. That's my responsibility, is to make you happy. That is a selfish tyrant to think that someone else, you destroy someone else's life because of your happiness. And one thing that I've learned about women, the one thing I learned about women, excuse me. Damn ginger jumped down my windpipe. The one thing I learned about women, they are at their best when they are talking to somebody like trash, preferably a man. Women are at their best when they are talking to a man like trash. If a woman wants to look in the mirror and say, you're fat, you need to do something about this every day, they're not gonna, that's one conversation they're not gonna have in a mirror. They're not gonna have that conversation. As long as they're looking at a man, like I watched this clip, I don't know where it was from, and he said, you didn't come check on me, this and all that on my birthday. So she said, so you want me to court you like a woman. You just want to be a woman. And he said, look, if that's what you got from all that, fine. No, that's what you're saying. You want to be the woman. That's what you're saying. And that is what my ex-girlfriend and I, that we broke up on that same premise. I said something to her, and then she said, basically, you're needy. You're needy. I said, it was nice knowing you, and changed my phone number. I don't play that. I just think that it is amazing to me how women don't understand none of their actions. Their actions is whatever they think that they want to do, they do it. Whatever they feel as though, let's put it like this. Whatever their friends is going to agree with, that's what it is. Once again, whatever their friends are going to agree with, that's what it is. Women do not do nothing from the perspective of an individual for individual gratitude. They do things with the perspective of, once I do this, my friends are going to approve. And this is why they get married and then regret it, because their friends are saying, yep, this is a good thing to do. But then once they're by themselves, then now they have to live with the decision that they made. Everybody else went on with their life. And this is what I see at 56. I see it today. I see women, listen, I see women or should I say, I know women. He's getting chased by a polar bear. Even ever outrun a polar bear? Wow, how about that? I just know for a fact that these women, their whole perspective and narrative is, the sisterhood wants me to do this. Then they do it. The sisterhood is off on another topic. What you did and destroyed your marriage, yesterday's news. Appreciate those thumbs up. And then, because they divorced their husband out of the sisterhood, the friends, and everybody saying you're not happy, they divorced their husband. Now, while they're going through the divorce, what did the attorney say? Oh, he's trying to hide that. They get all this support because, once again, whatever it is that the man, all their issues somehow is connected to the man. They can be overweight, it's connected to the man. They can have debt connected to the man. If I would have brought you that $5 ham sandwich, I would have enough money to pay off my $130,000 in student loans. What? Everything and all their issues is a man's fault. All their issues, a man's fault. It's a man's fault. I don't see nothing else on this planet like that. You can start a car up. You can try and start a car up. It won't start. You look at the gas gauge and say, it's enough gas in it, but it ain't starting. You're going to say either the gas gauge is broke, or I don't have fuel in it, or the fuel pump is broke. So if you never had a problem, if every time you put $1 worth of gas in the car, you got in the car and the needle moved, you're running this back in your head. Oh, it ain't that, because I always put $20 in and it goes to the same spot. You're going to start doing self-diagnosis, self-diagnosing the problem. No, it ain't that. It ain't the battery, because at least it's turning. Even when I try to start it, I smell gas. I think I got a bad fuel pump or a fuel pump fuse. You're going to check it. Women are the only things on this planet that all their issues is one item. One item. You cannot even help today in today's climate. How could you ever help a woman if you're the problem? It'd be best to just sit back and allow a woman to go through their stuff, what they're going through, wife or not, allow them to go through it. Because the second you intervene, any decisions or anything you make, you're now the problem. Appreciate those thumbs up. You're not a problem. I listen. Like I will say this, and I will always say this. People, I'm a realist. I want real love. I want real friendship. I speak real conversation. When I'm entertained, I want to be entertained, but other than that, leave the entertainment there and then go into other things. I categorize everything. I don't cross nothing. This is why I've always had a secretary with a giant ass. Yeah, I hired them. Some of them I hired them because their ass was big. I want to come to the office and look at a big old booty. Never had sex with none of my secretaries. Why? I don't cross those lines. It is just a perspective and narrative that I will die with. But I now look at women in today's climate, and what once was something that they had to work on self, it's not that no more. Every and all of their issues is a man's fault. I will never, I'm not going to understand that. And listen, I'm going to say this, then I'm going to get out of here. And then I'll see you guys tonight at 8. And remember, we're going to talk about how attorneys stick up for judges. We're going to talk about that tonight at 8 o'clock. How attorneys in family courts, they stick up for judges. All right, don't forget. So when you decide, I'm going to say this. I'm going to say this and I'm going to get out of here. When you decide to cater to a woman's delusion, good luck. When you decide and you know that a woman is wrong, but you agree with her to save an argument, to say, is that what you're saving? Think about what I said. You agree with that, to save in an argument. When you save an argument, you saving it for later, as opposed to disagreeing with her and eliminating the nonsense from coming up later. You'll understand. What I'm basically saying to you is 90% of your interaction with a woman, you better be on lead. You better be on lead. You better be on lead. If the percentage is higher than that, you might want to stop looking at the boxers and the briefs and switch to the panties. You might want to do that. You might want to do that. I'll see you guys tonight at 8.